together, it can change our hearts. And when we dream together, a dream can change the whole world forever, for better. And we will rise together so we can stand forever. Though just for now the storm keeps us away. And we will dream together, change our world for better. Because a dream of change is still a dream today. Tomorrow we rise.
When we've been left behind and we're far from home, we will walk together so we're not alone.
And when we walk together, we'll face that road forward, soar for better. Together, together so we can stand forever. Though just when now the storm keeps us away, and we will dream together, change our world for better, because a dream of change is still a dream today. Tomorrow we rise. And we dream of a day when we can laugh and play on the path that will least resist us. And although for today we must stay away, our hearts can go the distance. If we rise together, we can stand forever, though just for now the storm keeps us away. And we will dream together, change our world for better, because a world of change is just a dream away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow we rise.
Welcome to our 4th annual Domestic Violence Impact event. We thank the choir, the Rose High School Honor Choir, for inspiring us with their music. This year, we face a new threat from domestic violence. Even before COVID came along, domestic violence was already a pandemic. But now we think about the abusers and how new anxieties, new threats are triggering even more abuse from them. We think about the victims and how new tensions, new exhaustion is making the already daunting task of escape and establishing an independent life even more daunting. We think about the impact on their children, the impact on our partners in law enforcement. And then we think about the Center for Prevention of Family Violence and the work that we're able to do with all of these partners so that we can combat this new level of domestic violence that we now face. We gather today to show our support. After you hear the stories today, after you see the work that our center does, we ask that as every year you dig deep, but this year perhaps dig a little bit deeper to support the amazing work that is being done to help the victims, to reduce the amount of abuse, and to reduce the impact on everyone, especially those children. I would like you to look and see the staff and board of directors who make so much of this wonderful impact happen every year, including this most challenging year. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. I'm Debbie Robertson and a proud board member of the Center for Family Violence Prevention. We're so appreciative of the many of you watching this virtual event because it signifies to all of us, the board of directors, the staff and employees of the center and of our stores, the counselors, advocates, therapists, all of us. It signifies that our community recognizes the importance of what we do across a 3-county area. Not only do you understand the importance, but are willing to step up and put your money where your mouth is. Thank you for donating today. We have some special guests watching virtually today, including local elected officials from Pitt, Martin, Washington, and Greene counties, law enforcement officers, victim advocates, and others in our community. Thank you for your service as we partner together to offer safety, guidance, and hope to domestic violence victims and their children. We want to especially thank our guest speaker, Dr. Allison Mcgowan, for her gracious flexibility in scheduling as we moved from an in-person luncheon to this virtual program. We look forward to hearing her as she shares and teaches us about the impact of domestic violence on our children. Thank you to the Rose High School Honors Chorus under the direction of Stephanie Payo for providing our opening music. And thank you to Carolina Seasons Nursery for providing our beautiful moms and plants decorating our stage today. But the group that we cannot thank enough are our sponsors and friends who answered the call to support us in defraying our impact event expenses and to help us provide services throughout the year. None have been more supportive than our grand presenting sponsors, Tom and Alice Glennon and the Greenville Convention Center campus. For the third year in a row, the Glennons have stepped up in a huge way as grand presenting sponsors, and we cannot say thank you enough for your generosity, especially during the pandemic when so many services have been closed or altered. At this time, I would like to call on Risa Tucker, Chief Executive Officer of the Greenville Convention Center, who will make remarks on behalf of the Glennons, the Hilton, and the Greenville Convention Center. Risa?
Good afternoon. On behalf of Tom and Alice Glennon and the Hilton Convention Center campus, which really includes our Hilton property, our Hampton, our Holiday Inn, and the Convention Center, we are honored to be the grand presenting sponsor for the Domestic Violence Impact event. You know, we're all disappointed that we couldn't meet in person this year, but we thank you for being here with us and for joining us virtually. I know there's not a single one of us who have not known someone who has been impacted as a result of domestic violence, which is a shame. But together we can all try to make a difference. As we learn more and are educated today, we're going to find that it's not only the victim that's impacted, but our children are impacted greatly as a result. And many times this trait continues for generations for the future. When you're asked to give, we plead with you to join us and to give generously. And let's make a difference for domestic violence together. Thank you.
Thank you, Risa. And now please join me in recognizing our platinum, silver, and purple sponsors, as well as our many friends. As you see them in the community and in their businesses, please stop and thank them for their generosity to the Center for Family Violence Prevention. Let's give them all a round of applause.
I'm Laura McNally, and I am chair of the planning committee for the Domestic Violence Impact event this year. And I am also a member of the board of directors, and I want to thank the members of the planning committee who have worked tirelessly to make this event happen this year. We were all excited to be planning an event where we would have a luncheon and gather together to be able to meet with friends, meet with colleagues, and enjoy a little networking time and lunch. But unfortunately, at the last minute, again this year, that wasn't going to happen. So I just want to thank all of the members. Would they please stand up so we can acknowledge them? Thank you so much. They have all been absolutely wonderful in shifting gears this year. And I just want to also acknowledge, you may wonder why we have an audience today. After all, this is a virtual event. No one should be here. The audience is the Board of Directors members. It is also the staff from the Center for Family Violence Prevention. And it is the managers and supervisors of our stores, My Sister's Closet, My Sister's Attic, and My Sister's Place in Farmville. And they are here today to support this event as well. I would now like to introduce Laura King, Executive Director of the Center for Family Violence Prevention.
I'm so glad to have the opportunity to speak with you today and to share a little information about our program, about domestic violence in general, and about the children we serve. Before I speak, though, I'd like you to watch this short video clip.
Where's dinner?
Well, I thought you'd be home a couple of hours ago, and I put everything away. So
What is this? Pizza?
You had just called me. I would have known what.
Dinner ready is a pizza.
Honey, please don't be so loud. Please don't. Let go of me!
Get in the kitchen!
No!
Do you want to see what hurts? That's what hurts! That's what hurts!
Oh, please! I can't. Please.
I've probably watched that more than a dozen times, and every time it gets me right here. It's hard to watch. Today we're going to talk about the impact of incidences like we've seen on children. But first, I think we need to talk about domestic violence in general. What is it that they see? Why are these people in this situation? And what we can do about it. If you look at domestic violence, we could probably go back to the beginning when it started with a caveman. And back at that time, there was no one to step in and stop it. No one who knew better. And through time, through the centuries, through cultures, it has continued. It continues in the world today in different places, in different situations, but it's with us. As late as the late 1900s, we still didn't understand what was going on. Judges, counselors, pastors, law enforcement, all looked at domestic violence as though it were a family problem. It was a family matter. Nobody wanted to get involved, and nobody wanted to deal with it. If someone sought help, they were counseled basically to kiss and make up. This is an argument that got out of hand, shouldn't happen again, and we go right back to where we were in the middle of a domestic violence relationship. That's not the case at all. Domestic violence is one person, one human being trying to gain and maintain control over another human being, and they're willing to do anything to maintain that control, up to and including homicide. Domestic violence victims are insulted, they are degraded, they are manipulated, they are isolated from family and friends, their finances are controlled, and they are puppets of an abuser. If they try to leave, and I'm sure most of them want to, they're threatened. If you leave, I will kill you. If you leave, I'll kill your family. If you leave, I'll call DSS and report what a horrible parent you are, and you'll never see your children again. If you're an immigrant, then your abuser may call immigration, and you might be deported, leaving your children behind here. The abuser also frequently threatens to kill himself. So the abuser has the burden of the guilt that she would have if the abuser kills himself. Through the years, since the 1970s, domestic violence service agencies have developed and are now providing service in our communities. We've learned a lot about DV in that time. We've learned that not all the victims are female. We've learned that men in intimate partner relationships are also victims. Female victims we see is every 1 in 3 women in the United States will experience some form of abuse in her lifetime. With men, it's 1 in 8. I find that a very high number to me, because that's not the way we've looked at domestic violence over the years. And in our experience with victims coming to our agency, we also now see victims from same-sex couples, and they come to us for help with one additional concern. The abuser will say to them, if you leave me, I will out you. And these are people who perhaps have not come out on their own, and they're terrified of their family's reaction, of their employer's reaction. Our whole society will see them differently. In the last few years, we have also seen transgender victims. So domestic violence or intimate partner violence happens in any intimate partner relationship. Victims suffer horribly. We see all sorts of things in our agency. We see victims who have been beaten. We see victims who have been burned, victims with broken bones, victims with loss of their teeth. Anything that someone can think of, someone can do. Children also see these injuries. If we go back again to the caveman, we can assume that off to the side, watching this, or hiding in fear, are the children. What does it do to them? What do they feel? What do they think? I think a little child, if witnessing violence and screaming and yelling and throwing things, would be confused, would be afraid. An older child that can see what's going on, realizing that this repeats itself over and over again, might not be able to sleep at night, wondering if maybe when they get up in the morning, one parent will be dead. Or do they wonder that they will be killed, or a sibling, or the abuser? We look at children in this country who commit murder, and the greatest percentage of them commit murder to protect an abused parent, or to protect a younger sibling, or to protect themselves. Today we're going to hear what actually goes on, what goes on in their mind, how it carries through their entire life and affects them as adults. I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you that even as long as I have been working around domestic violence and seeing children come in with their parent, I was not truly aware of long-term effects on the children. I'm kind of a nurturer, and if I had been the victim in a domestic violence assault with a child who witnessed and was afraid, I would have scooped that child up. I'd have cuddled them. I would have done everything I could to reassure them that it was going to be okay, that we would be safe, that maybe Daddy didn't mean it or make some excuse, and I would nurture that child and then maybe tuck them in bed and move on. And if they stopped crying right then and relaxed a bit, I might have thought we were done for today. I wouldn't have thought that this incident at this time would impact this little person for the rest of their lives. And this is what we need to look at today. What do we need to do for these children? We need to stop the violence. We need to end it in our homes and in our community. This agency provides safe shelter for parents who are victims and their children. We provide counseling to the children. But what else can we need to do, or do we need to do? We need to stop it. We need to reach out into our community and educate people to understand what's going on around them, to make them understand what might be happening next door and that they can intervene. You might embarrass someone, but the embarrassment's not what's going to kill them. You can make them aware of services. You make them understand what's available to help them. Our agency provides safe shelter. We provide counseling for victims. We provide court services. For the children, we provide safe space to meet and interact and visit with a non-custodial parent. We provide supervised exchange. So if a custodial parent and a non-custodial parent need to meet to exchange that child, we can prevent a violent incident from happening right then. We can also counsel victims who want to leave an abuser. Statistics tell us that a victim's chances of being murdered increase 75% when they try to leave. And if you've watched the news lately, you'll see that was true. In all the cases that we've had in the last few weeks, you will see that the couples were separated or that the victim was trying to leave and they were murdered. We've got to save these children from this kind of incident. If we don't stop the violence, we're not going to stop the trauma to the child. If we don't stop the violence, we are actually incubating the next generation of abusers and victims in our homes in the counties that we serve. I'd like you to look at this little picture again. That sweet little face. This is actually a commercial that was aired in the 1990s. So this child is an actor, but he represents the hundreds of children in our community that suffer this every day. The fear, the terror, and how long will they carry it with them? They are the most innocent, the most fragile, the most vulnerable among us. Folks, we're the grown-ups here. We're supposed to be taking care of them. They are our responsibility, whether they're our children or the neighbor's children. We have to step up and do something. This education piece today, we're trying to share with the community what is actually going on right under our noses. This agency is committed to education and prevention and also to service to the victims. Today, I want to ask you to open your wallet, pull out your checkbook, flip out that credit card and give generously so that our agency can continue this valuable work. Nobody else is going to do it. We need to eradicate domestic violence in our community. I can't say that I really believe that's going to happen in our lifetime, but we can certainly make an impact. We owe it to the innocent ones. I ask you to step up today. Let's save a child. We can make a difference to one child, like Dr. McGowan said, or lots of them. But we're capable of doing this, and I ask you to do it today. Thank you so much. For the next few minutes, while we listen to a very pertinent song by Bernadette Peters, we're going to roll the screen to give you all the information that you need to make a donation, the information you need to make a difference. Thank you.
Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make, wishes are children. Careful the path they take, wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen. Guide them and step away. Children will glisten. Tamper with what is true, and children will turn, if just to be free. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Children will listen. Children will listen.
Thank you to each and every one of you who has chosen to be here today virtually and who chooses to support the Center for Family Violence Prevention and its mission through financial contributions, as well as support to our stores through donations and purchases. Dr. McGowan, we thank you so much for traveling today to be with us and share this important message of remembering the children. Children are very observant, and they do listen. You have demonstrated the impact of domestic violence on our children and the outcome as adults. We appreciate you being with us today. For anyone who wishes to purchase a copy of her book, We Hid Under the Table, these will be available at all of our stores: My Sister's Closet on Arlington Boulevard, My Sister's Attic on Red Banks Road, and My Sister's Place on Main Street in Farmville. The Center for Family Violence Prevention is committed to doing everything we can to prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence is our business, and we need to make it be your business as well. We need to remember that domestic violence takes on many different forms. By being aware of these signs, we can try to prevent a potential tragedy. Every one of us needs to learn the signs that someone is being abused. It's important that we teach our children and others about respect, appropriate behaviors, and healthy relationships. And we must act to support our victims. If you suspect that someone you know is in an abusive relationship, please do something, and please speak up. There are many people and resources who can help. If you're interested in learning more about the Center for Family Violence Prevention or volunteering to support its mission, please contact us. If you are a victim or a survivor, we hope that today you have felt the strength and the support and the love that we have for you. In closing, thank you again to all of our sponsors, and thank you to all of you who are listening today. We sincerely appreciate you and assure you that the Center for Family Violence Prevention will continue to fight to prevent domestic violence, but also to serve the victims. It's what the center has been doing since 1981, and what we will continue to do every day for as long as we're needed. I assure you that these things would not be possible without your continued support to us. So thank you all so much for watching today. Every person makes a difference to us. Enjoy the rest of your day, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you in person next year on Thursday, October 7th. Thank you.